How y'all doing today? It is Aïssatou and I am here with another Destination Black interview. This is actually one of my favorite interviews that I did in this series. It is with the Meditation Bus family. If you follow them on Instagram, they're at the Meditation Bus. They're also at the Fallback Up and at Women of the Womb. And so this is a family of yogis who are living in a self-converted bus with two of their children, and they spread a lot of knowledge on astrology, on like reading stars, reading like the patterns of the moon, on crystals, on yoga, on just sound healing, on all the things about how to live a better, more holistic life. So I hope you enjoy this interview. And as a quick note, the first, I say like 2 minutes, the audio gets a little shaky because my internet connection was a little bad. Classic van life problems, but I encourage you to continue listening through the interview because there really are some gems here. So I hope you enjoy, and let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd like to start off with some of the basics to know a little bit about what you guys were doing before you got a Skoolie. So what were you up to before you started this journey?
Well, before we bought a school bus to convert it into a tiny house wellness center, I was managing a raw vegan restaurant in East Point called Loving It Live, and organizing the community to do large-scale meditations. It was around the time that, you know, I mean, they've always been shooting Black people, but around the time where it first started popping up on the news a lot more, where it was just like every day there was like killing somebody. It was like, all right, everybody's like, we gotta protest. And you know, from working in a Black-owned raw vegan restaurant, that's, you know, it's a place where people go to talk. So I would hear about it all day, and it's like, you know, we gotta protest, we got a meditation yoga specialist, and more on just what protests are in general, who organize protests, what's the point of them. So I'll try to educate people on that by getting them together more private as well, do something peacefully, so that our image that is seen of us is violent people all seeking to murder each other or have sex with each other's girlfriends. That's not true. So these things are portrayed as true, and you have to imagine, if you're in an all-white household, what a Black image looks like if that's what you get. If that's what you get, that's what it is. And then I look on the news and I see you on the news now fighting the police because it's like, oh, fight back, fight back. So I'm equating these two things, and I'm a white American, I'm equating these two things, and I'm thinking Black people are pretty violent. They're unruly, they don't listen to authority. I'm thinking these things because that's what I see. And then I turn on the music, and the music's like, yeah, I'm unruly. I ain't listen. And it's like, okay, they said it, and I can see it. So what is their argument again? What debate do they have that we shouldn't be doing this today? And so I can teach people about sound healing, chakras, and just the knowledge of our ancestors that I asked from my everyday dealings with conscious and being in this space. I got to be hand in hand, as you know, face to face a lot with some major leaders, because I guess they just saw in me what I know is there. And that made it so that people sought me to educate them as a teacher. It wasn't something that I'm seeking people to teach. I'm out here, I want to be known for doing this. That was never the case. People came to me because they read my books, because they saw me online. They're like, hey, you need to organize these things. And so before we got the meditation bus, we were doing large-scale meditations in the Black community with people of color. And, you know, everybody's invited or whatever. But it's really about Black people coming together to educate themselves on who we actually are. And so that the love we have for ourselves, that's what people love about Black people. They love our culture. But our culture is being perverted so that we hate ourselves. And it was never like that before. So the love that we have for ourselves is what needs to shine. So we were organizing people to come together. And then we had just did it so many places, and we paid our own money everywhere. So that's why we're like, we need a space for ourselves. So we started telling our followers, hey, we're going to build a wellness center. Whether it's outdoors or it's over here or it's a shoe, we don't care. We just want to know we're about to build it. And people were like, yeah, that's cool, whatever. So they support, they support us online. And we were actually saving to buy land and build it with our hands like a structure. But before we got there, we were like, we're running out of time. And so we were like, let's just make a move by getting the bus and converting that to show people just how serious we are. You know, it's one thing to organize an event, but it's another thing to actually do the actions needed to actually heal the Black community. We can have these events and we can talk back and forth on these videos, and these conversations are really great. But the action of building your own home, or the action of getting off of bills, or the action of actually detoxing or, you know, letting go of some of the things we're used to so that we can go up in levels. These are hard things to do. And so we just wanted to do something hard to show people it's not easy, but look how easy it is. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how we're here now, because originally we're just in the community doing it, and we just kind of transitioned it into tiny house living. So it isn't just about living off grid to us or bills.
It's a lot of things that kind of go into it, you know? Like, and I was gonna say, like, even with that, from a community aspect, that was a large part of our decision in going to bus life. But then also for like our personal life and our personal aspect, it was, which I think, you know, is a reflection of community, and what we have been through is what a lot of people's situation is, like in terms of finances, in terms of not having like certain foundations in your life when it comes to home and all these different things. And so doing the bus was a way for us to figure out something for our family, for us to change our financial trajectory. And a lot of things really started to kind of fall into place as we continued with our journey and as we were sharing it with other people, and then realizing what other people needed and saying like, okay, this is what we're going to focus on, and this is how we're going to use all of the different components of what we know and what we've already done to help other people, you know, get themselves together financially, spiritually, physically, emotionally, all of these things. So
I really appreciate that, because I feel like a lot of people who are on this journey and looking online, they just see the bus, they just see the van, they don't see everything that's going into it. And also just by showing your journey online, being that living example of like, oh, there's an alternative life that I can be living that's grounded in wellness and healing, that is actually accessible to me, that I can start with the money that I already have and get into it. So I really appreciate being able to see that part of y'all's journey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And kind of going into it, I'm wondering, is there anything like how you guys mentioned, like it's not easy, but it is easy. It's not easy, but it's doable. Is there anything along this journey, whether it's with buying the bus, whether it's with creating the community that y'all have created, is there anything that you wish that you would have known before starting this journey?
I think not so much what I wish I would have known, but what I wasn't expecting was how much this journey would be in terms of spiritual healing. You know what I mean? Like, so many of the experiences that we had going into our bus, like the hardships that we faced with physically building, weren't really the most difficult things. You can really push your body to do anything. You know what I mean? You can push your mind to do anything. I think for me personally, a lot of this journey has just been a reflection of certain things like in our lives that we've had to heal and work through. And I would say that's probably something I wasn't expecting as much in this journey, but I don't know, like, how you feel.
What was the question again? What we didn't expect?
Yeah, or you know, what you would have known kind of going into this.
There's never enough self-education that you can do for this. So we tried.
Yeah.
We tried to know as much as we could. But as soon as you get into it, day one, you instantly go, okay, I know nothing. So what I wish I kind of would have known is that I didn't need to know anything. I didn't need to forcefully learn hours and hours. All of these things we're just doing, we're trying to get over my fears. Yeah. So all of that pre-cramming was me saying, oh, I'm going to be prepared. And it's good to know that it definitely helps. That's not what I'm trying to say, that you don't need to prepare. Be prepared. But what I wish I would have known is that I didn't have to prepare as hard and intense. The main thing was me starting. Yeah. It was like we learned everything. We really learned everything the day of. Most of the stuff we did, we learned it that day. Or we tried it didn't work, and we tried it again. And so it's like it's almost impossible to know what you need to know, because it's impossible to know specifically for your situation things that are going to arrive. One thing you should know is that everything is intimidating in this world, for one, but definitely with this life. If you are going to build a home off grid in a van or in a school bus or in a tent or whatever, it's intimidating from the day one of buying the van to buying the school bus. You looking at it. I'm scared to buy it. All right, if I buy it, who gonna drive it? I can't drive no bus. Oh dang, we ain't got no land. But we might as well just wait till we get land now. Oh, we might as well wait till we're ready. And you're always waiting to be ready because you're never going to be ready. We're still not ready. If we would have waited to get the bus to be ready, we would still be waiting. We're not ready for it yet. We're not ready for any of this. But we deal with it the day of when it comes. So really, I'm saying it's intimidation. Intimidation is this big imaginary wall full of fear. And when you see that wall, you must know there's miracles on the other side of that wall. So break down the wall of intimidation as soon as possible. Don't wait to get over intimidation, because it's not going anywhere. It's going to get bigger. When you face intimidation, you really realize how small it is and how easy it is. You know, some things aren't easy, but when you're doing them, you're like, oh man, I'm doing it. So it's not as bad as the thought of me doing it. So it's really a lot of intimidation and less of something specific. There's nothing specific you need to know. You just need to know that it's okay not to know, and that you'll be okay. You know, just want to do it. If you really want it, it'll happen for you. You get a bus or a van, you'll be in that mug. You'll get in there and break them seats out and build it. You'll do it. You go outside, you look at that van and be like, I'm gonna do this today. I gotta go buy this wood. Ugh, I don't know how to build. Dang, should I just wait to buy the wood then? I could do something else. I could call somebody else. Shut up and go buy the wood, right? Go do it. You know what I mean? Even if you don't know how to buy the wood, and look at it and just look at the wood and be like, gotta put that together now. That's intimidating too. It's like, I gotta get nails and a hammer. So it's all intimidating. But yeah, that's it. It's just it's everything. It's intimidating today. It's like what we about to do. Like, we're setting up classes now. It's intimidating. I'm like, yo, maybe we can wait. You know? And then in that moment when I say that, that's when I know I got to do it now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Thank you. That's how. That's the realest, like, about the journey of doing all this, is like, while you're doing it, you don't know what you're doing. You keep doing it, and then you learn as you do it. Yeah. So as you guys have been on this journey, what are some things like that you do for yourselves to stay centered, to stay well, especially with having family and balancing family, business, everything, personal wellness that you have going on? What are some of the practices that you use to stay centered?
For me, I would say I mean, I guess, I don't know. It depends. Like, for the most part, I like to write. I like to journal. And that is how I process most of my feelings, or my thoughts as we are navigating all of these different things. But I think one of our biggest things is we talk a lot. We have a lot of discussions. Some of them are difficult, some of them are easier, but that is a big one. I think that plays a part in our ability to kind of stay focused on what it is that we're doing, you know, like outside of just the bus journey, but with anything in life, like being able to be vulnerable about what you think and what you feel and what you're experiencing is really important for processing, you know, just the different things that life throws at you. And also, because of the field that a lot of our work is naturally kind of, you know, healing and allows us to stay grounded because we focus our work on meditation and yoga and eating right and things like that. So it makes it a little bit easier to stay balanced, you know? So I think that plays a big part of it. You know what I mean? Like if we had highly stressful jobs or like, you know, something that didn't allow us to focus on that spiritual aspect, it would probably be a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It'd probably be impossible.
Yeah.
I was about to say the same thing. Yeah, before we started building the bus, we do yoga. We eat very light foods. Mm-hmm. So we never have the itis, you know. Yeah, so those are pretty much my main ones: meditation, yoga, and light eating. I'm not even gonna say vegan eating. I'm gonna say eating light.
Yeah.
Because while we're building, it's better for us to have the energy to do things. Things pop up. You know, when you're living nomadic, things pop up. You might need to go fix something. You might need to go fix a tire or something. And you need to not be tired or have pain in your body. So yoga for the pains in your body. Yeah, and just having a good person to talk to really help the time go by so that you're not worried about things and things of that nature. You know, a lot of worry comes from like your liver and your kidneys, and that yoga eliminates that. Eating right eliminates that. Mm-hmm. So your diet has a lot to do with this. People don't realize that, you know, you have van lifers and Skoolie lifers who, you know, eat whatever they want to eat. And it is a big difference between them and the ones who are actually doing the holistic, the whole thing. Yeah. Because you're not just changing your finances in the way you live, you know, your roof over your head, but you're changing the energy of your life, of how you move, of the time that you have. Mm-hmm. And so you actually have to eliminate things that hinder that. And I thank the universe that we did that before this, because I can tell that it would have been harder. I mean, I know people who don't do this and they just eat raw bad, and life is sluggish for them. You know, it's a lot more complaints, a lot more, oh, woe is me. You know, we live in a school bus in the woods, and we're just smiling. You know, we're happy. You know, people are like, yo, I got everything I want. I got a big house. I got a big car. I got everything. It's like they all these bills, and they eat wrong because they can only eat fast food, and they always worry. They got bad attitude problems, and they're not equating none of that to, you know, the things that they put in their body and, you know, what they're not doing, you know, like meditation, prayer, or whatever else it is. So those things are our basis in life, period. And I feel like those things help us get to where we are now and get through everything, you know, meditation, yoga, eating right. Yeah. Those things have pretty much carried us all the way up into who we are now. Yeah. You know? Yeah, anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, you bringing up diet just kind of reminded me of, like, overall diet, you know, not just what you eat, like, in terms of food, but what you consume with everything, you know, like the music that you listen to, the media that you're subjected to, and all of those things are all a part of your diet. So really, like, you know, it's kind of saying the same fact, like, it's bigger than just with van life or bus life, these things that we do, like, it's just for a lifestyle in general, you know what I mean? So if you can take those same tools and apply them, it will definitely help you with this journey, because we all know, like, it's not it's definitely liberating, and it's amazing, and it's an amazing journey, but it's not always easy. You know what I mean? You are dealing with things that you've never really been conditioned to deal with before, that you've never really exercised those muscles. You know what I mean? So it can be challenging. And I think just having, like he said, that background of that lifestyle outside of this allowed us to maneuver through this space a lot better, a lot easier.
I appreciate that, because I do think a lot of people see like the van or the bus and they think that is what brought the peace, that is what brought the joy, that is what like got you to be able to do anything. But it's like, before that, the reason why you were able to get the bus and build what you built is because it started from the inside, and really taking a look at like, what is everything that I'm feeding myself?
Exactly.
Is it what I actually want to be feeding myself, or do I need to?
Yeah, because then that led to the thought of like, okay, wait a minute, we can, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, we can change how we eat. We can change what we can consume. We can change our, Sorry, I had a phone call coming in. But yeah, like, you know, we can change these things about our life. Okay, do we need to have 4 TVs in every single room? Does all of our family need to be in different bedrooms on different cell phones and not connected with each other? You know what I'm saying? Like, do our kids need to go spend 8 hours a day? I don't know how many hours a day are kids at school, you know, for 12 years in a row. Those things are taking away from the overall lifestyle that we want to have in terms of peace, togetherness, and all of that. And so, yeah, like the bus was just kind of like the end result of coming to terms with all of those things.
And I also noticed that you guys like do a lot. Like, I know you have the meditation box. I know that you guys sell headbands, crystals. You have an online course on how to build a home out of a van or a bus. I was wondering, like, have you guys always felt like business-minded, entrepreneurial-minded, or is this something that has been a part of the journey? And what kind of sparked that? How did you get yourself to start thinking in that way?
Yeah.
Before the bus and before the vegan restaurant, I'm an information technology specialist.
Hello.
And that's something I went to school for. But when I was in Atlanta, before all of this, before her, what I was doing is I was just a creative, a professional creative who would help businesses to be successful online, as well as to think outside the box for where they're going in the future. So I've helped countless businesses in Atlanta, Georgia. I've owned a magazine before. I helped relaunch WERD Radio, which is the first Black-owned radio station, the one that used to bail out Martin Luther King from jail. They closed down, but I know the owner, and he was like, hey, I got this thing. So we recreated the radio station. We helped them do that. You know, I've always had a good team around me of people who were pretty business-minded. That's the thing about living in Atlanta. This is why I love living in Atlanta, because there's so many people of color, and they're all educated or self-educated, and we all help each other to get to the next level. Everything I learn, I teach her, or I teach anybody around me, which makes them really special people. And the people who taught me were really special people. So they taught me business, and I would help businesses go from 0 to 100. And this is what I did before any of this. So I always worked for myself. You know, I had little jobs here and there, but very short-lived, because I'm always a real boss type individual. I don't really like to be in a place at a certain time. I don't like to wake up too early if I don't have to. I like to move when I like to move. And so I just created my own business of helping other people. I realized that all business is helping people. And when you can see people need help, you're not saying, hey, I can make money off of that. You're saying, I can help in this way. And money comes, or it doesn't. You know, you don't necessarily have to do it for that. But when you have the focus of being an angel in people's life, then things come to you. And we're pretty much successful because of that premise. I mean, it works both ways, though. I went from the top and I lost everything. I went homeless, and I worked my way all the way back up to the top. But I was never in a bad situation in terms of like, even when I was homeless, I helped launch an art gallery in the middle of Atlanta. So I wasn't really homeless. You know, I was in an art gallery, but everybody in the art gallery was homeless because everybody put our all into that one thing. And as soon as it was done, everybody went and got a place to live. So it wasn't like, you know, we all just didn't know what we were doing. Everybody I've ever surrounded myself with has been a good team. You want to go help her?
Yeah, hang on one second.
Everybody I've ever surrounded myself with has been a great team and really eager to learn. So with the education I taught myself from helping other people, I just taught other people. And as things come, because, you know, technology changes every day, we're just good at seeing ahead. We're cognizant people. We think ahead. And one thing we do know is that we won't work for anybody else unless I agree with what you're doing. If I don't just fully agree with it, and when I do it, I'm not working, I'm not going to do it. I'm not trying to seek applications for a job. None of that. You know what I mean? The internet is here, and there's so many ways to make money on the internet now. I just take my expertise of building apps and building platforms and really mastering how to create something out of nothing. And that's another reason we got this bus, is because it's another one of those things where it's like, oh, I got bills, now I don't. You know, it's like, I'm going to do what it takes to actually get the results I want.
Yeah.
And I've been teaching people that for years. Yeah. So just actually helping other people. And then one day I had an epiphany. I'm helping too many people. And I stopped and I took all of that energy and I started to focus it on my talents and me. And I was like, for a couple of months, I'm going to focus on me. Mm-hmm. And when I did that is really how, you know, everything blew up. Because I was helping so many people, I never realized how much
you mean,
energy.
Helping them business-wise?
Yeah, I'm helping people business-wise.
Because you still help people.
I still help people every day. That's what I do for a living.
Yeah.
But I would, my past business model was just help. Yeah. It wasn't, what about me?
Yeah. It wasn't
great.
Like starting your own business or being like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, people saw the greatness in me. They're like, hey, I need your help. You know how to do this. You know how to do that. You know how to do this. You know how to do pretty much everything we need done. Can you help? And I'm like, I can't wait to help. And I help. And they would be helped. And they would grow. And they would make money. And they would be successful. And I would be homeless. Yeah. And I was helping businesses make millions of dollars. And I was homeless. Yeah. And I was okay with that. And then one day I said, you know what? As an experiment, I'm going to focus on me. And that changed everything. I blew up like in a month. Because I had the formulas. I just had to focus on me. Mm-hmm. So it was, the question was, what do we do, right? Business minded, other than what you see online. And it's everything. Our whole life is based around helping people. It's just the premise, for me, it's just the premise of like this interview. I feel like it helps people, mm-hmm. you know? And because it helps people, it's valuable, mm-hmm. you know? And it's not on other people to see your value. I see it. If you ask me to pay for this right now, I'll pay for it. Because it's not free. It has price, it has value. But the value is what you put on it. Yeah. So you can give it to me for free, or you can tell me, no, my 10 minutes is worth this. Mm-hmm. And then I'll pay for it. So learning that lesson turned everything into business. Yeah. Really. It turns everything into monetization. Yeah. Really?
Yeah. And for me, as these things kind of like in our timeline, kind of intertwined, like as we were dating and as the bus idea came about. But really before we had met, my mom had started making like our own products and our own hair products and body products and things like that for us. Like, again, going back to that same thing of healing ourselves and changing our lifestyle. And so that was kind of the start of like, well, I wouldn't say the start. Like, I've had entrepreneurship and things like that in my family history for a while, like with my grandparents owning their own restaurant and all of these different things, these different companies. But with my parents specifically growing up, I didn't see that. And so it wasn't until I became an adult And that started happening. And then people would be like, oh, that smells so good. I love that. And so my mom and I were like, hey, let's start selling these. You know what I mean? And so it was really something that we did just like as an extra thing. Like she was working, I was working. But I always knew that I was like, I want to create. Like if I could just spend every day creating, doing art, doing things I like and getting paid from it, that would be like the ultimate life goal for me. And so I always knew that that's what I wanted to do. And then I saw her setting the steps for that to happen and making that change, like for our family going forward. But I think what we lacked was the skill of how to do it successfully. And so when he and I met, that was kind of, that was always like his role, just how he said with so many businesses being like, okay, this is how you do it. Like you have the idea, but this is how you do it. And so I think that's why he and I work together so well when it comes to this stuff, is because, you know, I've always had a passion. Whenever he's like, I have this idea, let's go for it, I'm like, all right, cool. You know, sometimes I'm not, sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm a little scared, but for the most part, I'm like, okay, you know. And I think that's helpful because, you know, it's hard when you have ideas and things like that that are so out of the box and people are just like, oh, nah, I'm good, or no, I don't want to run with that. I think having a partner and a person to help you, whether you're in a relationship or not, like just having a partner to help you is a really important thing, you know? And yeah, so we both had that like oh my gosh, I can never say that word.
Entrepreneurship.
Yes. We both had that energy going into it. And then just like our different roles and how that plays out really just match each other very well. And our ultimate goal is to show people, you know, so many people struggle financially because when you're working for someone else, there's always a maximum that you can make, right? Like you go to work, they give you the minimum wage. This is just enough that you need to live every day. But we all know that that's never enough. You know what I'm saying? So when you work for yourself, just how he said, everything you do has value. You know, it can be, say hi. Hi. Everything you do has value. It's just like he said, the value that you give to it. And so we wanted to be able to teach other people like, hey, you know how to braid hair? You can monetize it. You know how to sew? You can monetize it. And even if that's not what you want to do for like your business or for the rest of your life, it is something that you can do to bring in some extra income to help you out, to help you make those ends meet. And it's about showing people the tools that you have, your hands, your feet, your eyes, your nose, like all of these things on your body are tools that you can use for anything. You know what I'm saying? So often we just get caught up in like looking to things outside of ourselves to do whatever. And so I think, you know, that's a part of it for us too. So
that's real. And I think like for me, watching from the outside, one thing that I've noticed that you both do really well is finding your audience and speaking to them and reaching to them. Would you have any advice for people who are like, okay, I know I see this problem. I have something that I know can be a solution to this problem. How could they go about like figuring out where to find the people that are having this problem that they can help out?
I think it starts with looking at the issues in your life that you're facing and learning how to help yourself navigate through those things or heal from those things. Because the things that we are passionate about are things that we were either lacking in our communities, lacking in our families, or lacking inside of ourselves, right? So I grew up with parents who we always had things, we always appeared wealthy, but all of our things were on credit cards, you know? So my family was in so much debt, right? So that was a big thing. And then I always grew up, like I had eczema, I had like different reproductive issues, like with my menstrual cycle. And so I was like, you know, I have to heal these things. And so my journey didn't start out with me saying, I want to help other women to like heal their wombs, or I want to help other women to, you know, with their reproductive issues and things like that. It was, okay, I need to fix this for myself. And then I would share with those around me, and then people would ask me more questions, and then I made a Twitter and people would ask me more questions, and then we got on Instagram and people would ask more questions. And so I think what people fail to realize, like when they see us on Instagram, you know, us specifically, and they see the numbers, they think, oh, like, oh, you must have always had it together, or like, you know, everybody starts at zero, ground zero, and everybody starts somewhere before you even see them make it to the internet. And so that they're all so that end result, and I'll hold it and you hold this.
Okay.
You know, sometimes I think people get caught up on that end result, that they don't realize it's actually a process, and it was years in the making. I'm talking 4, 5, 6 years before we even bought our bus and started doing this. So I would say figuring out what it is in your life that you need to heal and things that you're passionate about. You know what I'm saying? And then you start speaking about those. Like, you have to be authentic and you have to talk. You have to talk to people. And that's how your audience grows. That's how you find the people that are also in tune with that. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, what was the question again? I was getting them ready.
Yeah.
What was the question? What was the question one thing?
It
it was about social media.
Oh yeah,
No.
it was basically once you know that there's a problem and you have the solution to the problem, how do you go about finding your audience to sell it to? Because one thing that people have trouble with is like marketing. How do I reach people? If there's any advice that you would give somebody who has a solution to a problem, but they're trying to find the people who have this problem.
When a student is ready, a teacher appears. That's it. You don't look for people to heal. You don't go out saying, hey, you need healing? You need healing? How about you? You research, you do your own research, you have your own experiences. And if you're honest enough, and if you know what you're actually talking about, people will find you. They'll find you, and then they'll tell other people, and those people will find you. So we've never looked for people. What I try to teach people about when it comes to social media in terms of finding an audience is yoga. And when I say that, I don't mean yoga poses. I mean the word yoga means unity. It means unity, right? So good yoga is anything that connects to life forms. Anything that connects. This conversation is yoga. So you asking me these questions make you a yogi, whether you want to be or not. That's just the definition of it. So good yoga is when you are able to reach out instead of waiting for somebody to reach to you. So one thing we do really well online is we actually connect with our followers. We talk to everybody. They probably feel like they know us for real. And most even though we have hundreds of thousands of followers, we know them. Like, you know, I can go to their page right now and be like, hey, I know them. They see me in the streets, I'm like, hey, what's going on? I've probably never met them before, but in my mind, it's like I have. Because good yoga says that I should daily try to reach out to as many people as possible. So we may not reach out to everybody every day, but especially when we were first starting, every single day, we made sure that like 100+ people felt good about themselves. And that's priceless to people. There are people who will never stop following me or never stop supporting. Or when I post about a box or a reading, they'll get every single time. There's people who ask for readings who I skip, who I don't even respond to them because they do it every time. It's like, I want to help, but you're really trying to help me, and I appreciate it. It's like people try to help you so much, you be like, dang, you help me too much. You know what I mean? And it's because of the good yoga. When you want an audience, and you want an audience that actually buys your products or comes to your events or just sees you as a real person, then you have to not just be an ego. You can't just be like, hey, look how cool we are. Yeah. Come like my pictures. Hey, come to my event. Hey, come do this. Come wear the shirt with my name on it and do everything with me. And there's about me. Until you're ready to say, hey, what do y'all have going on? Like how you reached out to us. This is great yoga. That you built rapport with us. You said, hey, I'm going to reach out to them. I know what they do, but I'm not going to wait for them to hit me up. I'm going to hit them up. And so it's different when you got 50K, 60K, whatever people, and you're still on their pictures like, yo, that's awesome. They're like, wait a minute. This dude got 60K commenting. Who cares? I mean, it's just a number of what I got. But what does that stop me from going on your page where you got 5 or 10 followers? I can see you. It doesn't make me blind. So I get to go on your page and say, oh, man, that sister right there, she really working on her yoga. That's what's up. Yo, motivation, hashtag, blah, blah, blah. And they be like, yo, this person really rocks with me. And they don't have to. And when they see that, people go, yo, I really rock with them. They need a reading? Give me 1. Give me 2. Give me 3. Hey, you get a reading too. You know, you follow them. Follow them. You need to follow them. Yeah. Because we're actually on their page. And people probably ask them, like, who is that following you? Who is that on your page? You know this person? They're like, yeah, I know them. You should follow them too. And it's just good yoga. So whether you got 1,000 followers or you have 100K, you know, the way you get 100K is you cannot wait for people to follow you. You have to go to people and show them love. You have to. If you don't show other people love in online or in life, it's not going to be a great business or social media or family or anything. You know, you have to have good yoga. So knowing what yoga is and implementing it has been the actual change that made us popular online. Because we were big on Twitter first. And somebody was like, y'all gotta get on Instagram, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't want to be on Instagram. I don't want to post my face because I'm an introvert. I wrote a book called Introverts Explained. And I had a friend who's a yogi. And he was like, no, you got to get on Instagram because everybody's on there. And so I got on there and we blew up rather fast because we did the same thing on Instagram we did everywhere else. We just I actually care. I want to see you succeed, yo. I want to see, when I see a picture of you down, followed by a picture of you up, I'm going to like the picture when you up. I'm going to say, yo, keep doing that. You may not know it, but people like me are watching you. And that motivates people. So it's like good yoga. It is really, it's really how you reach an audience. But if you're out here trying to find students, that's not going to work for you. You're going to find trolls. If you out here saying, hey, I need to, y'all need help with headaches? You got a headache? Let me teach you how not to have a headache. It's like, I don't even got a headache. So they're going to be in your class like, it's old headache, doctor. They're going to be in there trolling you. You know what I mean? Because they're not supposed to be there. So what you want are real clients. What you want are real customers. What you want are real followers. You want people to know you and actually have care for what you do. Yeah. Because all money's not good money. So it's not about money. It's about energy. So if you learn good yoga, more than your social media will be successful because of that, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you. Yeah. That was really helpful.
Much love.
I appreciate this entire talk and y'all taking time out of your busy schedules to come share with me and come share with everybody who's going to watch this, because I know that I definitely just got a lot out of this, and I'm sure a lot of other people will as well. So I wanted to know if there's any place that people can find you online, if there's stuff that you guys have coming up or doing right now that you want to share with people so that they know how to keep in touch and connect with you all.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as far as like following us on social media, we both have Instagram and Twitter. Our personal page, The Fall Back Up, I am Woman of the Womb. You can also follow our bus page, which is the Meditation Bus. We are planning some different classes and workshops for the spring and summertime, so you can definitely check us out on there. Our Twitter is the same as well, The Fall Back Up, Woman of the Womb. And our Patreon as well. Our Patreon is something that we use to continue funding the bus and other, you know, just healing projects, community healing projects as well.
We're gonna put our reality show on our Patreon, as well.
Yeah, and so on our Patreon, there's so much there. Like, we do recipes, sound healings, articles, just sharing what we've learned and things that you know, just that go a little bit more in depth from our Instagram. So our Patreon, which is patreon.com/thefallbackup, which you can also subscribe there to our monthly meditation box, and all of that good stuff. So yeah, in our website, all of that, the links are in our bios if anybody follows us online, to check out our website as well, which is
album coming soon to iTunes.
Oh God. But yes, so the meditationfamily.com, which is where you can find all of our online courses and our online shop, as well as that will include all of our updates for when we start back doing retreats and sound healings and things like that this spring. We'll have a calendar on there as well.